Welcome to Coach's Corner, episode number 32. I am Coach Justin.
And I'm Coach Ethan.
And today, folks, we're going to be talking about fitness myths that, despite massive amounts of evidence to the contrary, people insist are real. And science be damned, we are all just purely based off of emotion and bias here.
The true lies.
True lies. So we're going to be talking about some fitness myths. Some of the big ones. I did a post on this that went crazy viral. I'm at like almost 100,000 views. I guess it's not that crazy, but for me, that's the biggest.
That's a lot of eyeballs.
And it was this. It was essentially just like fitness myths you have to stop listening to, and the vehement, like, just
people's beliefs.
I mean, the wars
on the line.
In the comments that break out when you just say dumb. Like, the biggest thing was squeezing lemon in your water is not going to help you lose weight.
Is that the first myth? That's the
man? Did that ever just light a
the
World War III in the comment section?
Oh, that's good.
Yes. So anyways, we're gonna be talking about some stuff like that.
But wait, though, so lemon water doesn't make you lose weight?
No, it does. I was just trying to make some good content.
You're just ruffling some feathers.
I was just being controversial. No, it definitely. For the record, guys, if you like lemon water, if you find a squeeze of lemon water in your water refreshing, cleanse the palate maybe in the morning. That's what I like to do with it. Mm-hmm. Great, lovely. There's tons of benefit to it. As far as like any sort of direct correlation between that and like losing pounds of body fat.
Well, when it alkalizes your blood and mobilizes the fatty acids from your fat cells, and then better utilizes them for utilization for energy throughout the day. Of course, it's just obvious.
There's certain components of a lemon that when you ingest it burns fat. Right? When you drink it, it kind of tastes acidic. Yeah, well, that's what's burning your fat.
That's what's burning your fat.
Yeah. So, it's crazy to me that this is something that we've talked about before, where we've been in this world for so long, and we've read so many studies, and we've made so much content, and we've had so many conversations with clients and individuals that it seems like obvious to the point where we don't even need to talk about this anymore. Like, of course, that's not like if you're eating like a sleeve of Oreos and washing it down with like a 2 liter of soda, like no amount of lemon water is going to fix that. But
no, lemon water is not going to do anything.
I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you. Yeah. But it's just mind-blowing that that's where we're at. But so much of the general population still is kind of really betting hard on this like anecdotal approach to weight loss as opposed to just like looking at any science. And so it's always, I think, just good to rehash this stuff and just kind of like set the record straight.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because I was thinking about the lemon water, and it's like the making your bed in the morning, kind of putting your best foot forward. And so I could see it's like when you make a decision early in the day, because this is most of the time, I think, the idea, right? You wake up, you drink your lemon water in the morning, and you're good for the day. So I think there's like a component that if somebody's going to start to make lifestyle changes and decisions, that like the lemon water being making the bed, setting the best foot forward for your day, that you're making this intentional decision for what you're putting in your body, giving it some thought, actually getting behind your decision making. And I could see how that could cascade out into making better decisions throughout the day.
Yeah.
And that might lead to some weight loss. And so I could see how there's almost like, but no, I like people probably were saying, I lost 20 pounds by doing the lemon water. And it's like, okay.
Well, what else were you doing?
What else were you doing? Exactly. And maybe the lemon water was just a mental, emotional catalyst for making other good decisions throughout the day. But the lemon water itself obviously wasn't doing anything.
I hear your point on that. And I think that like even myself,
and I'm not saying it is the reason, but it's just I was thinking like why
it could be a tripwire to a framework of decision making.
Just why people are so adamant. Like, how does the myth or how does the anecdotal information get so potent?
I think that some person writes a blog or makes a post or does something that
their aunt loses weight.
That says like, like we were joking about it, but yeah, when you drink lemon water, it like curbs your appetite, or it like, who knows? It helps like reduce blood sugar spikes. There's probably some crazy anecdote out there like that, but like people want to believe that. And one theory that I've been coming to as far as like weight loss is that, as with anything in life, the answer is usually much more simple. But as human beings, we tend to want to overcomplicate things in our lives that we desire. In other words, we tend to overcomplicate the path to achieve things that we desire, so that it gives us a plausible reason to continue procrastinating. So if like we all know, like, hey, listen, if you want to be more successful in your career, you should just work harder. Like you just got to wake up earlier, and maybe just put a couple more hours in every day, and like, take that certification or read that book and apply these principles. But it's almost like that's too easy. Oh, no, there's got to be something else to it, right?
Right.
And then people kind of jump in these like bandwagons of like getting fit quick or getting rich quick. But then people who are on the other side of it, it's like, no, literally, it's just like, hey, man, so like go and just Google TDEE, your total daily energy expenditure calculator, put your age, height, weight, activity level, and it'll show you how, if you want to lose like a pound a week, it'll just show you how many calories to eat. Just do that. And it's like, no. I think it's a cold bath. I think it's a lemon water. I think it's a breath work. I think it's only eating every third day, and that's what it is.
Right.
And then don't eat past 7, obviously.
Of course, always.
That's how you lose weight, because that's how a friend of mine did it. So
yeah,
you're an idiot.
What do you know?
Yeah, what do you know? You fucking... You're just a slave like the rest of them. Yeah, just believe in whatever they feed you. But yeah, so I think the lemon water, it's just kind of that. It's like we need to stack these like things that all add up to this transformation, when really it's like, nah, if you like it, go ahead, great. But you don't.
Yeah, there are benefits to it, but it's not going to be any accelerated weight loss or fat loss, No,
and another one that got a lot of heat in that post was not eating past 7.
Yeah.
I said, hey, in the post, I was like, hey, a banana has 100 calories.
Right.
Whether you eat it at 7 a.m. or whether you eat it at 7 p.m., a banana has 100 calories, period, right? So it doesn't matter what time you eat. Like the time, meal frequency, meal timing is marginal.
Meal size.
It's marginal. It's marginal. Yeah. And that got a lot of heat as well. And it's like, just to set the record straight, you can eat 6 small meals. You can eat 2 or 3 large meals. If you need to eat, let's just say 1,800 calories in a day, divvy it up however you see fit.
Right.
Just hit your numbers.
Just hit the numbers.
Yeah.
Because the thing is the calories in, calories out, the energy in, energy out is always just going to, that's going to be the like master equation. Mm-hmm. And it's just not going to matter either way.
They've done so many studies on this where they had one control group eat 3 large meals, and they had the other control group eat 6 small meals. Same amount of calories, same macronutrients, same everything.
Right.
Over an 8-week period, they both lost the same amount of weight.
That's the thing. And there might be changes in your hunger levels, or how I find that for me, if actually eating earlier in the day helps me to lose weight, if I'm trying to cut in a general sense, I find it like, I don't know, something about it just gets my appetite going and gets me on track to like eat the larger volume foods.
When you eat earlier, you mean?
Yeah, when I eat earlier, because I tend to not have appetite in the morning earlier. So it's just, it's kind of going that if I'm making the right food choice decisions, that like somehow eating earlier kind of gets my body started with it, and then I get hungry, and then I eat the large volume and I get full, versus like it's somehow, I just find that is a pattern I notice, that when I start to introduce a meal earlier, it just helps like put me on the right track. It's just for whatever reason.
I find that it's better for me to have a kind of a bigger breakfast, and then I don't really think about food until afternoon. So I have like a big breakfast around 9, and then I'm pretty much good to go until 1.
Yeah, just put a bunch in the trough and just
exactly.
burn it off,
you know?
right?
But what's interesting is that this is the real thing, right? That the volume of food that you're consuming is way more important than anything else, I believe, as far as making good food choices. So single ingredient, whole foods.
Yeah, without question.
I literally did an experiment yesterday, and I have this like chocolate muffin that I bought that I haven't eaten it. I just leave it in a Ziploc bag in my freezer, and I use it for like videos that I make for like content, just as like a comparison reference.
Right.
It's 480 calories in a standard chocolate muffin.
It's a chunky muffin.
Right. It's a chunky monkey. And then I built a 480 calorie breakfast. It was a whole egg. It was 8 ounces of egg whites. So 1 full egg and then 8 ounces of egg whites.
Yeah.
A half cup of oatmeal with 100 grams of banana and strawberries chopped up and a little bit of agave over the oil and some mixed vegetables. There's a whole ass big plate, and it was only 480 calories as well. And so it's like, that's the difference. It's like, it's so easy to just like mindlessly roll through Starbucks or Dunkin' or whatever and just get like, a coffee and like a muffin. I eat kind of light. I'm going to eat kind of light today. But you probably just ate 1,000 calories and didn't realize it.
Yeah. And you're going to be so much more satiated, especially with the oatmeal and the fiber.
For sure.
Yeah.
The fruit and everything. So you eat a big ass plate like that has 50 grams of protein and it's only 480 calories. But then you're like, I eat that at 9. I don't think about food until 1 p.m.
Yeah.
So
and I think that's one of the reasons too that I find that when I do that, because what will happen is then if I don't get some food in me early, then I start getting hungry. Mm-hmm. And then that's when more potential bad decisions will come in, because I'm like, oh, I'm so hungry. Well, let me maybe just pull into a Starbucks and get a double frap with a muffin. Yeah. I just need a little something to hold me over.
Something.
Just need a little something to hold me over.
Yeah, it's like, man. But yeah, so that's a big one. It's like, listen, it doesn't, like, objectively it doesn't matter. Subjectively, you got to figure out what makes sense for you.
Yep.
And to Ethan's point, like, he knows himself, and if he pushes it off, all of a sudden that little gremlin voice in his head starts saying, you know what, maybe I didn't get a chance to eat this meal I made, but I could just pull over and get a club sandwich and get some French fries, It's just so easy to do it too. It's just so easy to just find yourself consuming like unknowingly thousands of calories that seem harmless. So subjectively, you got to kind of just understand, like, are you okay? A lot of people don't need to eat breakfast, and they're totally cool with just pushing it off to lunch, and that's fine, especially if you're trying to lose weight and you don't really get hungry until lunchtime. Great.
Yeah, and you might be able to have a big lunch that way. Yeah. It's really satiating and really satisfying mentally. You're like, oh, got to have a big old meal.
Me, man. I need to eat. Like, I'm good. I wake up at like 5:36, and then like around 9, I'm like,
that's a good chunk of time though.
Yeah. But that's me. But so that's the truth. Like, and a lot of people that we work with at Carbon are nurses. And a lot of these nurses are 12-hour shifts, and they have to be at the hospital at 7 a.m.
Yep.
So that might mean they have to wake up at 5 so that they can leave the house by 6:15 or 6:30 to get there by 7. They burn through their day. Some of them, don't always make the best food choices, or have the best options available to them.
Yeah, that too.
But then they get home and then I hear this all the time. It's like, oh, but I thought I wasn't supposed to eat past 7.
Right, so now
I'm like, but you didn't get home till 8.
Right, what are you supposed to do?
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So it's just this like belief breaking of like.
Well, and I love that it's just 7. I love that it's not 8. It's not 9. It's not 6. It's not 6:45. It's like, I've got 15 minutes. Quick, get it in. Yeah.
Because back in like the good old days, they come home from work at 5:30 and then be ready by 6. And
it's like it's like 7:07, and you're like, damn it.
You missed your metabolic window.
That's it, no?
Yeah, that's it. You're doomed.
Just go straight to fat after that.
So it's like, the thing that we avoid so much of tracking calories, if you just look at it the other way, it's like that is what sets you free, because you just go, oh, okay, I get to eat 1,800 calories in a day. Great. So, whatever time that makes sense for you, whatever type of food, as long as you're hitting, a good protein level and getting your veggies in, whatever food choice works best for you, like, wonderful. Like, this is your freedom now. You can, like, you have autonomy. You're not stuck in some rigid template that you're going to eventually fail at, but you have flexibility to move things around. bring in the stuff that you want, remove the stuff that you can make room for the things that you want with.
Right.
Like, it's just the way.
Yeah, another one I find, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of a one that's it's just something I see people engage in almost every time they choose to try and lose weight, and that's like just reverting to salads.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, like I want to go on a diet or I want to lose weight, so I'm just like going to eat a salad for lunch, and that's going to do the trick. And it's just like, okay, and it's a two-edged sword, because on one sense, like, yeah, salad, like just a pile of leaves, tends to be 0 calories, and so you can have a huge volume amount where, if you just have cucumbers and some sliced tomatoes and arugula, it's like, yeah, there's like 50 calories in that. And so, yeah, if you can commit with like a piece of chicken breast on there, sure, that might be a quote high volume, low calorie food comparatively to the burger you were eating for lunch.
Right.
But it's not, again, it's just missing the picture that like, oh, well, if I just do this one thing, that's going to do the trick. It's gonna solve the problem that I have of being overweight, when really it's like, one, that might work, but if you're just eating nothing, then you're not really getting any food. You're going to probably crash and burn and make poor food choices. And then the other caveat is that you could easily eat over your calories with a salad.
Everyone Google how many calories are in a Caesar salad.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, it's like the especially if you're getting it from like a restaurant or someplace that's loading it up with all the fixins and fun things, easily can be just as much, if not more, than a solid meal. And I also think it goes back to things like olive oil, right? It's like people don't realize the caloric density of olive oil.
And so, olive oil is a healthy fat.
Oh, of course, yes. So it's not going to contribute to your weight gain.
No, it's a healthy fat.
No. So I'll put olive oil and a handful of pecans, or and then I'll have
dried fruit,
and half an avocado, some blue cheese crumbles, little
breadcrumbs,
Parmesan, and then next thing you know, especially those fats, they're so tasty they get on there. Next thing you know, you have a whole bunch of fat calories. Yeah. Plus, you got some chicken on there. You got this
1,500 calorie salad.
Yeah, I mean it's easy to do. So it's one of those ones again that's just like I see come up so often of just like such a common practice across the board that once people want to make that decision to lose some weight, they're just like, oh, I'll just eat salad. That's just the answer. That's just what I didn't need to do. Just eat salad.
That little side house green salad just all of a sudden turns into a full blown fucking Caesar with like
and again even if you do just eat the little side salad, like you're probably going to be so hungry because you're not. Then it's like you're either eating nothing, or you're eating probably. There's a chance you're eating too much, and the salad can be a great choice, but like if you still don't know what's in it, it can work against you in both ways.
It's like it's one of those things where it's like there's such an analogy to money and finances with food and calories.
Yeah,
and when people say, okay, hey, you just need to save 10% of your income, everyone kind of understands that. Oh, okay, great. All right, so for every $1,000 I make, $100 goes into savings. Okay, we all understand that conceptually. It's no different than just being in a 10% calorie deficit, right? So like, okay, so like every day you just need to like, shave off 10%.
Yeah.
And that's what's gonna, get you out of debt, quote unquote, right? And everyone understands that, but like there's something about like the analogy in this scenario would be, okay, I just need to eat salads. Or the finance version of that would be like, all right, I just need to like just watch my spend. I just need to like make better choices, right? Just like spend less.
Right, exactly.
There's no structure. There's no real plan there. And so what happens in those people who just want to eat a salad is that it's, to your point, it might work, but they don't know why it worked. And then when it stops working, they don't know how to fix it. And it's like the same thing with like, okay, I'm getting into too much debt. I'm just going to stop spending. I'm just going to save everything. I'm just going to take my entire paycheck and put it towards my credit card.
Right.
Well, it's like starving yourself with money now. So now it's like, yeah, that worked. It got your credit card debt down, but then you ran out of actual money of your own. And so you have to pull the credit card back out. Yeah. And to cover the difference. It's like the same thing when you try to go too aggressive with your fat loss. It's like, yeah, it worked and you might drop a little bit of weight, but then you're so fucking starving that you can't sustain it, and you have to and then you go back to the old habits.
Yeah, and it's not a realistic habit anyway. I mean, if you are just going with a little side salad route, are you gonna really just like eat a little side salad for the rest of your life? I mean, there's no plan there to actually have a sustained practice of how you live your life.
All right, I got one for you.
Okay.
Working out for your body type.
Yes. There's that one guy. He is just that. He looks like just such a cocky like actor he looks like an actor, and then he looks like he trains actors. You know who I'm talking about.
This is a V-Shred guy?
I think it might be V-Shred, yeah.
That dude is just somehow managed to
He's been everywhere for so long. The amount of money he
And-
must put into marketing is
well, and so
crazy.
so I found he doesn't even own. That's not. He's just the face of the company.
Yeah, okay,
There's
that
like a
makes sense.
whole like
yeah, it's like
thing
Herbalife or
behind
something.
them.
Yeah,
no, it's like a whole
I've looked into it a little
company.
bit. Yeah, it's a whole.
He's
thing.
just the face.
Yeah, and it's been so many different things, but yeah, that is the big take the quiz
Oh man.
for your body type.
And the thing is that like all like legit online influencers that are fitness, like like the guys that we like, the Dr. Izvitellis and all these people who are like PhD level, like legit, very respectable fitness influencers, they all hate him so much.
Yeah, because
They're just like, he is just the worst.
because he's out there influencing
Yeah.
so much. These little tendrils are just
Yeah, it's just like
seeping in.
how would that feel? Like, just know that like you are the least respected human being in your field. Like that would suck. But anyways, yeah, it's like that. It's like it's a perfect example of somebody who abandoned any sort of sense of like moral duty or responsibility to like provide the right information and just went straight the marketing route of just like, hey, you want to burn up that stubborn belly fat? Take my body fat quiz. And you got the bottom half of America just being like, yeah, that's it for me.
Oh, I didn't realize I was an endomorph.
That's what happens.
If I'm an endomorph, that means I need to eat this way. I mean, what's true though? You as a ectomeso, maybe.
Yeah, so
ecto.
me as an ectomeso, I mean, I have to train for my body type, which
Of course.
is, like weight training a few days a week, and then
Eat
walking
some
the
protein.
dogs, and then jiu-jitsu class once or twice a week. Like I have to train for my body type.
Of course, yeah.
What
Otherwise it's
about
just
you?
like-
What's your?
Well,
you're
I think I'm more of a meso.
Meso, you're
Yeah,
more
I'm more of a
mesomorph, yeah.
meso. So I mean, I can just basically do a little cardio, do some weight training. Maybe get some steps in and eat some protein.
See, there you go. We're training for our body types.
Yeah.
Or it's similar to like the eating for your blood type.
Yeah, that's an interesting one as well. I got into that in the sense of when that was from so many years ago, and I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense. Like, oh, I can see that. But we're not fucking vampires. It's not like,
Yep.
there's just nothing behind the fact that if you're type O or something, they're negative.
If you're type O negative or whatever, you just to eat to your blood type, you just have to eat in a calorie deficit. That's
Can't eat tree nuts.
That's what, and that one. Well, that obviously.
The blood type, yeah, that is a good one. But that's you got to really be.
Man.
I wonder if people are going out and getting their blood tested. Just like I heard.
It's happening, man. People are doing it. Never underestimate like these little whispers around, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? It's like, no, someone's out there legit getting their blood tested and so they can eat that way. It's crazy. And then the last one I'll say is the newest thing, which I actually would like to do a whole episode on at one point, would be the carnivore diet.
Oh, the carnivore diet is crazy.
Which used to be called keto, which used to be called Atkins. But now it's carnivore, which has its own little twist to it.
Well, carnivore is. I think it's a deeper beast than just keto. I mean, it's the removal of carbs, but carnivore is taking it to a whole level.
Oh, they're saying vegetables are bad.
Yeah, they're saying because like on keto you could still like eat cheese, but I think carnivore would be like not even cheese. Like sometimes I think they might be like, oh, raw dairy is okay, but I don't know if they're down with like you eating a Kraft single. But like keto, you could technically eat a Kraft single.
Yeah, and the author of the book, The Carnivore, I did tell you this
Yeah,
already.
you're telling me this, yeah.
He came out and he's like super public. If you just Google the author's name, and you could see videos of him basically discrediting the whole thing and saying like, yeah, I almost had to get hospitalized. Like I was feeling terrible. I started coming down with all these symptoms. It's like, yeah, man. What the fuck do you think? While he was writing the book, he was experiencing all these symptoms.
So crazy.
But of course, finished the book because he's a piece of shit and just wants to, and now he's created this whole movement that's spawned a million other fucking influencers
Well,
now.
and that's the thing about carnivore. It's like I equate it almost to the dogmatic club that is kind of like veganism. Mm-hmm. That there is such an identity and culture behind carnivore. Like it's not just like, oh, I'm going to just focus on a certain macro or eliminate a macro. It's like carnivore is this whole crazy spawned identity, like the amount of momentum that is behind it. It's like, oh, you're in the carnivore club.
Oh yeah.
And just like, just so,
branded
just like,
it,
yes,
baby.
yeah, it's like this branded
Oh,
fucking
man.
cult. And the byproduct of social media echo chambers, it's just so wild because once people like attach to the carnivore diet, there's so much identity behind it. It's not just like, oh, this is the way I'm going to eat. It's like, oh, I'm carnivore now. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I've returned.
Yeah. We should just make one called like the alcohol diet. So
This is
everybody
the
who just
alcohol-
loves to drink beer could be like, yeah,
You don't understand.
you don't get it, man. It's like, get my beer.
Get my protein from my own body.
Yeah. So, all right. I think hopefully we've helped you guys understand that there's only really one way about it, and that's to just take control of your health and nutrition and don't get caught up in the bandwagon, man. Stop bandwagoning.
It's just, and there's one I've been, we focused primarily on nutrition, but another favorite of mine is that like weight training makes you bulky.
Oh, yeah.
I just hear it always from men and from women, and it's just like, yeah, it's just not true.
No, it's like
I
I don't want to get bulky, bro. I'm like, you just need to start. You're so far from bulky.
It's like
Like
you
eat
wish,
40
how hard
grams
it
of
is.
protein a day.
I mean,
like-
my newest client, he's a small person, both in stature, and he's just he used to be like a runner. He's a cross country guy, and so he's pretty lean. But man, he's not thick in any way. And he was just like, oh, I don't want to get too big. And I'm like, I was like, dude. I was like, you couldn't probably get that big if you wanted to. Like,
Yeah.
I really can't get that
Yeah.
big. Like, it's like
it takes so much dedication.
so much effort and so much time. It's just such a common concern for people. And I'm just like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, you just look at a kettlebell and all of a sudden you're just like veins popping out of your
For
neck.
the record, weight training 3 times a week, 3 to 5 times a week, every week, maybe barring being like ill, since I was 16 years old. So that's 24 years of dedicated weight training, protein, tracking calories.
The whole thing. I mean, you're fit. You're
Bulky?
fit. No, bulky now.
I mean, so it's like, listen, guys, like, it's not a conversation of whether you're going to get bulky or not. It's like, you just got like start exercising and like just learn how to move your body.
Right.
You're not even at a skill level where you could lift heavy enough to even produce the stimulus required to bulk.
Yeah,
it's just like you're just teaching yourself how to move right now.
Right, you're like casting this line of concern to something that even if it was a potential is so far down the road. It's like this is crazy like self-handicap. We're just like, whoa, I don't want to get too bulky, so I'm gonna work out, but not that hard.
Yeah,
it's like
dude.
okay, like what are you worried about? Like I don't want to get too rich.
Yeah. It's like,
I don't want to make too much money.
why don't you like save $1,000 first?
I know I'm going back to school. I just got this new job, but
before you worry about like being too rich, maybe you should just like open a savings account first.
Right.
Like let's just start there. It's kind of like the same thing, right? It's the same analogy.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I don't get too fit. It's like no. You don't have any. You haven't even like started yet.
but as an endomorph, I build muscle way easier than ecto and mesomorphs. And so it's like if I just got to really be careful for my body type.
Just gotta train for your body type, then, man.
Especially because I'm also on carnivore, and carnivore just like doubles your testosterone and doubles your protein synthesis in your muscles.
Yeah, totally. No,
That mixed with the lemon water in the morning.
and listen. Are there like the genetic anomalies out there? Yes.
Oh, of course.
But like most people are very genetically average. Like most people fall right into the frame of like the bell curve is here, really shitty genetics on one end, really amazing genetics on the other. And then there's just sort of like the middle.
Yeah.
And 90% of us fall right smack dab as far as testosterone or hormone production, ability to build muscle, ability to avoid injury. Like we're all kind of like in the same zone here. And
we're not all Michael Phelps, who lactic acid production is like 80% less.
Yeah, and
He's like a genetic mutant.
Yeah, he's a mutant. And like out of our entire high school, maybe there's like 1 or 2 mutants, but for the rest of us, we're all just like, we would probably experience some really good stimulus or really good results from just training and eating properly. We could all probably get pretty fit just from eating and training properly. But there's gonna be like some people who just have shitty genetics, and like no matter what they do, they just can't get any stronger or move any better. We all know those people too, and they do exist.
I'm right here, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I didn't want to say, didn't want to call you out by name, but for the most part, like, yeah, you just gotta train and eat right and be fucking consistent. And whatever, and I can contest to this because I don't have genetics for muscle growth for sure. Like I have to work a little bit harder for muscle growth than other people. But what people who may lack in genetics as far as like their ability to put on muscle, nothing that consistency can't overcome.
That is true.
You know, so you might have someone who has great genetics, but they just don't get they just half-ass it. They skip workouts, eat like shit. You know, even if you have not so great, if you're just consistent and you
show up
and you just keep showing up, you can certainly surpass people with better quote unquote genetics than you, even though we all kind of land in the same parameters, mostly speaking.
That's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go, team. I think that was there you go. Your myth bust episode is over.
Don't buy in to
Yeah.
the true lies.
Don't believe the lies.
Exactly.
We'll catch y'all next time. Peace out.
Bye.